Hey everybody, my name is Nateson, and we usually have a lot of laughs on this channel and we're doing like more entertainment side of things, but today I wanted to take a step back and look at the PTR because we just got a whole bunch of changes, a whole bunch of heroes, got buffs and nerfs, and we're going to take a look at it, and this is going to be from a mindset of me who plays a ton of competitive Overwatch. So while I do like to have fun in my games and it looks like I'm kind of playing half-heartedly, I happen to play at a little bit higher level of play, and I do take the game seriously, and I think I do have some kind of cool insight as someone who plays the game a ton. I play around 38 to 42 on the ladder, for those of you that are new to the channel. So we're going to quickly touch on Baptiste first. Baptiste's new hero, we're not going to cover it too long because most of you know everything about him. They're adding a new hero, and my overall thoughts, he's going to be very good for the game. He looks like a lot of fun. I messed around with him on PTR already. Overall, looks fantastic. Now, there's one specific thing that I think needs to be pointed out, and this is the competitive side of me coming out, and just seeing how he'd be used in a game. Notice how in your matches you are dying to a lot of wipes, a lot of ultimates, and a lot of things are hitting you, specifically Zarya Grav. You'll find yourself dying to that and Diva bombs, that type of stuff constantly. Nano Blade, you're always dying to these just massive wipes. Immortality Field, I believe, is going to help, and especially with things like Grav. Grav is the biggest one in the game I feel like everyone is always dying to. Immortality Field is going to stop your team from just instantly dying because Zarya has Grav. And I think that's a great decision from the devs to make. So we're gonna jump through the mechanics and we're just gonna go straight to the heroes because that's what's fun to talk about. And so now that we are arriving at the hero updates with Ana, we're gonna take a quick moment to talk about Mass Drop, who is and I'm so thankful for you guys for sponsoring this video. You guys may not have noticed because they're so stealth-like, but I'm actually wearing the Mass Drop New Force in-ear monitors right now. These are a really cool addition to your everyday carry, and specifically to me, it makes me feel like a boss. They're very low profile, and I think it is the coolest thing ever. And as you guys have become familiar with the character Agent Nateson on this channel, these are his earbuds of choice for calling in to HQ. The fact that I sometimes forget that I'm wearing them has something to say about the comfort level. They're really cool, so I'm going to put a link down in the description there by Mass Drop. Guys, go check them out. And Mass Drop, thank you so much for sponsoring this video and being with the channel for a really long time. I love you guys. So let's keep talking about these hero changes now. This is the exciting part of the video. So Ana is getting changed, and she is one of the best new heroes that have been added to the game. She was added way back when. Nano Boost. One of the strongest abilities in the game, mind you. It's healing. When you hit someone, you instantly heal them when you nano them. It is being reduced from 300 to 250, and this is a fantastic change for you and your comp games, because aren't you getting a little sick of the enemy Genji got nanoed, everyone's gonna die. Unless you can shatter that Genji or grab them, which you will see the pros do to stop it, you're not gonna kill the Genji. So I think this is a very welcome change. And I'm gonna keep relating things in terms of your matches, because I think that's what's helpful. And that's kind of the way I think, just because I play so much competitive for fun on the ladder. So Doomfist, you guys know how I feel about Doomfist. He is getting a buff, a small buff. They're reducing his cooldowns by 1 second on uppercut and slam, which is fine. Helping heroes feel more fluid, I think, is always welcome. And you're never going to hear me complaining, even if it's a hero I kind of have problems with. You're never going to hear me complain about making a hero feel more fluid and fast. So that's completely fine, Blizzard. I think that's cool. Hanzo, you guys know Hanzo is my boy. One of the first, he's just like one of my favorite heroes of all time. One of the first heroes that really came out on this YouTube channel and my gameplays. Hanzo, his sonic arrow is being buffed by 2 meters. Man, I just gave Hanzo such a crazy introduction there for just 2 meter increase of a sonic arrow. And so yeah, you can see enemies a little bit further through the wall. It's really not a big deal. If you're already smart with your sonic arrow, you're kind of getting enough value out of it. It's not a big change, hardly noticeable. McCree, so here's an interesting one. They just changed all of armor and how armor works and how effective it is. So they're going to tone down Fan the Hammer a bit by 5 damage per shot. The damage reduced from 55 to 50. Deadeye is going up. So Fan the Hammer is getting a little bit of a reduction here. Deadeye High Noon is getting an increase from 275 damage to 550 after locking onto targets for 2.5 seconds. And I already saw, I believe they're already lowering that 2.5 seconds. So basically, in your matches, when McCree High Noons, he's going to be dealing a lot more damage more quickly. Most of the McCrees I see around GM and High Master, half the time they're using his ult to reload in a lot of situations, or his ult just ends up getting him killed. Kind of, it's a shame. I think they need to up his movement in ult, and I think that's how you fix him if you want to keep it how it is. But moving on, Mei. You guys know Mei is my least favorite hero in the entire game. Unfortunately, she's getting kind of a big buff. Her primary fire, which is her blowing the snow, the Wendy's Frosty coming at you. When she's trying to freeze someone, It currently deals 45 damage a second, which is a lot. And they're bumping it up 10 damage a second to 55. So she's going to be killing you even faster. Be careful. But to negate that, or to help kind of balance it, Ice Wall, the health is being reduced from 500 to 400, which is not enough. And I think her Ice Wall has been a massive problem whenever I see her in a game. It shouldn't be 6 people swinging and shooting at that wall for it to come down after a couple of seconds. I think that wall needs 250 health max. If you're not careful with Mei, and I've said this before, I do believe she is one of the best heroes in the game. People don't really know it yet, and we're not playing her enough in the ladder because she's kind of slow in terms of movement, but she is one of the best heroes in the game, and I'm still going to be swearing by that. So be careful with how fast you push her up. Moira is always kind of a dicey one. So I think she's incredibly powerful, and I've said before that I believe she lacks in the healing department a bit, and other people would get mad at me and will play the stat game comparing stats of Anna and Mercy and Lucio to Moira, and Moira actually doesn't fall very far, and Moira actually has decent heals. But the total healing has been increased by 15 points, as you can see here, from 50 to 65. I think that's okay. I think giving Moira a little bit more of an edge, I completely think it's fine. Let's move on, because I know that's a difficult one. And her ultimate, let's move on. Orisa, Fusion Driver. Orisa's main problem is that she's slow. In our games that you and I are in every single day, Orisa is not played over Reinhardt because she is slow. When was the last time you played Orisa on a 2CP map? On offense? No. You have to play Reinhardt over Orisa on offense almost every single game because of movement alone. Her current penalty is 50% when she's shooting. Her movement speed is slowed. They're bumping it, they're giving her extra 20%, so it's now 30% penalty movement speed. I think you could probably just get rid of the movement speed issue, and I think we'd be fine. So it's good. This is a good job from Blizzard, but I think we can go more with this. And I think we are still going to have her competitive compared to Reinhardt in terms of pick rate. So moving on to Pharah, minimum explosion damage increased to 16 to 20. So that's cool. We're just seeing a little bit of a buff for damage. And as you see, the change sets the rock's minimum damage to where it was before. We rebalanced it as direct impact. It's just getting complicated with the direct hits and indirect hits and the explosion rate, whatever. A little bit more damage. Soldier 76. I love this hero to death. I've been playing him since the game was quick play only. He was the first hero I ever played in a game, which is kind of cool. His pulse rifle, so his normal left click, his AR, 1 damage more per shot, which is cool. It's a big deal over time. These little changes are big. So 19 to 20 damage. A buff for Soldier is a green check mark in my book, and I'm kind of biased because I think he's a lot of fun. But Soldier doesn't see much play right now, and a buff pushing him in the right direction for him to keep up with the DPS that do happen to get picked typically are Hanzo right now, Hanzo and Widow. So helping him keep up with that. Another thing may be helping his range a bit, but his sprint, this is a big one. And when I talked to PvPX at BlizzCon, this was something that he had also talked about, is Soldier cannot always be sprinting, and we think he should be able to reload while sprinting. And also, here's the delay before you can fire the weapon after using sprint reduced from 0.5 to 0.3 seconds. So after you're done sprinting, your gun pops up a lot faster by 0.2 seconds, which is really cool. And his tac visor can now hit the tire and immortality field with Baptiste. So cool. A little pushes in the right direction for Soldier, which is always nice. And things, I'm going to say this again, I love fluidity changes. I think you need to do every part of the game that can be changed for it to be more fluid. You can do, without going overboard. It's just like, and we're going to talk about other games real fast. It's just like after playing Apex, going back to Fortnite, it feels like you move in slow motion in Fortnite. Fortnite needs to change. That's for another day. Another video coming soon. Sombra hack. So this is just quality of life thing. When you hack a health kit, the cooldown is now reduced by half, which makes sense. Health kit, it kind of sucks. You have to wait your full cooldown right now. Okay, that's cool. Moving on to Torbjorn. His base health, and this is an interesting one, he now has 50 more health. It's armor, but 250 health to start. And so when he overloads, he gains 100 armor instead of 150. So this is a really, really good change for Torbjorn, in my opinion. Obviously, because he doesn't have to hit an ability to have the extra health. But in your matches, so let's just equate this, especially to you DPS players, when you see a Torbjorn, and I'm speaking really from a lot of Genji, Tracer, McCree, Hanzo, don't you see an easy kill every time you find Torb? To me, I do, and I think a lot of that is because of his low movement and the fact he has 200 health, and I don't have to be that scared about him. When I'm Tracer, I can sometimes be scared, but I feel like he's really easy to kill a lot of the times, very vulnerable. So I think this is a really good change, and I would say, think in your matches when you see a Torb, isn't he kind of easy to kill? And this is the Blizzard devs even saying his survivability is a bit low. Yeah, he's a bit of an easy target when he's on his own. Not very scary to go up against him. So I think that's a good change. I don't play a lot of Torbjorn in my matches, but I'll play against him when I play against the people that are picking him a lot, and kind of easy to kill. Widowmaker, a hero that I have trouble relating how she needs to be in this game. Infrasight, so her ultimate. When she uses the ult goes away for the entire team when she dies. Because right now, if she hits Q and she dies, everyone gets to see her wall still for its entire duration. No longer anymore, which is a really good change. But to help that, they're gonna make it so that it reveals the enemy health bar as well, which is a pretty big change. So now Widow's gonna know who's very low on HP and is gonna know who to target first. So moving on to Wrecking Ball, he no longer has to get out of ball mode when he uses his shield ability. This is such a massive fluidity change to him, which is good, but this is also kind of scary because Wrecking Ball and Mei both are stall characters for the 2 CP maps. You already thought it was hard enough to kill a Wrecking Ball when he's flinging around a point with 1 billion health. Now he doesn't need to pop out of that ball mode. He can stay in it and get his shield. That is a big change. Just 2 days after they posted all that, we got more hero changes. Okay, so the first hero on this next page is Junkrat. Junkrat is getting a damage buff, which sounds crazy. You really don't see too much Junkrat in your games these days, but Junkrat deals a lot of damage and is one of the best damage dealers in the game. They are upping his impact damage from 40 to 60. He's dealing 20 more damage for that impact hit. So that's not the explosive damage. So he's gonna be able to pop you really hard, really fast. It says the total damage for direct impact is now 140. So if you shoot and hit someone directly, that's 140 damage, which is a lot. Junkrat's main issue is that he is a very slow projectile hero. The balls he shoots is not very quick. And that can kind of be his Achilles heel. The fact he's getting more damage is cool, but as the people said, that may not necessarily solve his problems. But it is a little bit more annoying now if you get hit with the random spam ball, because you're gonna be feeling that in the morning. Lucio, we're getting a lot of changes, and this is where we're going to see in your matches how it's affecting you. Goats, this is specifically aimed at goats. Amp it up. So this is when, when he amps it up, what is the beat, whatever he says. So his speed boost amplification reduced from 70 to 50%. That means you're moving 20% slower when he uses that. That's kind of big. Crossfade, speed boost effects reduced from 30 to 20%. That's just as normal, when you're hitting shift, going between your normal speed or heals, 10% slower on top of that. Sonic amplifier, sound wave now counts towards offensive assist. So that was in the patch notes from the other page. Wall ride. So this is how they change it all. So they're nerfing Lucio's speed and they're changing it to help Lucio, to help balance it out. When he's wall riding, his speed buff is now 20% quicker. It's now 40% speed over 20%. That's a lot of changes, and that is going to be pretty effective in your games. Teams aren't going to be moving as quickly. And so yeah, here's what we're talking about back with McCree. They did change it. It's now the same damage for Deadeye when it locks, except 1.5. So they knocked it down like a whole second. Moving on to Reaper. Reaper has become a bit, we may not see him in a lot of our games because Goats happens to be the meta, but occasionally he gets pulled out and he is a monster to kill. The amount of healing, especially if you're a tank, no hope against killing him. And that, to me, that's kind of okay. But he out heals so much of the damage he takes. Right now he's healing for 50% of the damage he deals, which is a freaking lot. They're nerfing a little bit, but 10% to 40%, not a big change, but yeah, I think Blizzard is correct here. A recent change that increased Reaper's healing while he dealt damage was a bit too strong. I think that's just the best way to put it. It was a bit too strong, making opponents feel like Reaper was unstoppable. I understand how that is. This is a fine change. I think 50%, 40%, 40%, 30%, it's okay change. I think this is a decent change for the game. So now we're on Zarya, a character you see in just about every single game of Overwatch that you're in right now. So her alternative fire on her cannon, which is her right click, if you have default keybinds, which is the little balls that she shoots, and they have quite the radius. Alternative fire explosion radius reduced from 2 meters to 3 meters to 1 meter to 2. Okay, so it's kind of like just weird random numbers, but they're basically changing it so it's harder for Zarya to have high charge and deal as much damage. She needs to be a little bit more accurate is basically what they're getting at, depending on the charge level. Kind of a tongue twister in there. Feel free to read through this if you want to kind of get the perfect explanation of it. But, as they say here, it felt like her alternative fire on her particle cannon felt nearly impossible to avoid. And so the change will allow Zarya to deal a lot of damage, but makes it more difficult to actually apply that damage. What they're saying is they're raising this. Sorry, I didn't mean to punch you in the mouth there. They're saying they're basically raising the skill ceiling. You need to be a little bit more accurate if you want to hit the shots with that much damage. Moving on to Zenyatta, one of the most effective characters in the game, and we see him in a lot of our matches right now. He's part of Goats. Orb of Destruction. So this is just his normal left click when he's throwing the orbs. Damage increased from 46 per ball to 48 per ball. So just 2 damage buff to his nut, depending on the skin you have. A little bit more damage when he's chucking those balls, which is cool. I do like playing Zenyatta. But to balance that out, because it's like, why would Zen get such a big buff when he's in GOATs every single game right now? Orb of Discord, and I think this is a good change. The effect is reduced from 30% to 25% damage. Discord Orb is the one that deals the damage, or that helps your team deal damage. And I think this is very good. Zenyatta, back in the day, what was it, like 40 or 50% damage when Zen was a glass can? I forget. Lots of changes to Zen. They're reducing his Discord Orb a bit, and they're making it so he has to hit more shots personally to keep up with the damage. I think that's a very good change for the game. And that is actually all of the changes for the heroes, and we have now covered them all. We're at the 24-minute mark of raw footage, so Jake, have a lot of fun editing this. So everybody, thank you so much for sticking with me through all of this. I know this may not have been as exciting as some of the gameplay videos, but be sure you will have plenty more this coming week when Jake and I are potentially going to try daily uploads for a bit, so that should be a lot of fun. I hope you're all looking forward to your Overwatch games. I just did my Season 15 placements with Daniel Fenner. I got placed at 3980, excuse me, which is really cool. Like one game out of GM. Wow, so close. And I've had a lot of fun this season so far, and even towards the end of Season 14, still having a lot of fun with the game. And I'm looking forward to see all these changes go live. Playing Baptiste should be a lot of fun, especially if we can survive some Zarya grabs now. It'd be very nice. Have an amazing rest of the night, everybody, and take care. I don't know what that was.